to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everybody, you are listening to episode 11, Who You Are versus What You Do. Hi, how's everybody doing out there? It's Monday again, so I'm Lorraine, back for another fabulous episode here of Career Uprising. How are you guys doing out there in the world? Oh, it is like a heat wave here in Virginia where summer is in full swing. So I hope that you guys are all off to a wonderful start for your summer. And I thank you, of course, as always, for listening. I have so much fun doing these shows. I do. I love reaching everybody and serving in this way. So thank you guys very much for the opportunity to do this. And we are live today, as usual. And I hope that you will think about giving me a call and talk to me. I'd love to get a call or two today on the line and chat with you guys. And, you know, we have a pretty broad topic. So today really is a good day to call in, no matter what it is that you might be thinking about or going through in your career. We're going to be talking, I'll tell you a little bit more in a minute, but about, you know, what work means to us. It means different things to different people and the meaning that we attach to that and what it means to have a job versus a career or more than that. You know, is who we are intertwined or separate from what we do? I think we hear that phrase a lot, but don't always know what it means. So we're going to play with that thought and that concept today. So I'd say anything you're going through, if you're going to be changing careers or looking for a job, or if you maybe are happy, unhappy in your current job, I think this topic is going to have a little something for everyone. So I'd love for you to call in and either ask a question or just add to the conversation, however you would like. The U.S. number to do that is 1-760-456-7277, 760-456-7277. So hopefully we can chat today, but if not, I've got some good ideas and things for you to kind of play around with in your mind. So we're going to be talking, like I said, about who you are versus what you do. What does that phrase mean? And why is it important? Because we throw that around a lot, you know, and we tend to introduce ourselves, I think, a lot by what we do for a living. You know what I mean? We say, oh, I'm an accountant, I'm a project manager. And it's almost like our work becomes a part of our identity and a part of who we are. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Do we want that? We're going to kind of explore that a little bit and see where that goes. So I also, too, I have a listener success story that I'm going to share in just a few minutes. And I do feel like it ties kind of nicely into this topic and this idea of what work means for us and how it transforms itself sometimes from the beginning of our career forward. I know my career has transformed a number of different times and kind of mutated into different things, and who knows where it'll be in a couple of years. So it's certainly very fluid. Absolutely. So I'm going to share that listener success story. I want to give a shout out to my listener in just a second, because she really kind of branched out, did something new, and you'll see in a few minutes here how it ties into our topic and our idea of, is what we do who we are? So I love when the timing of it, her little success story was so good. I love it when I kind of experience a little bit of serendipity and coincidence like that, and things kind of line up nicely. So I also want to let you guys know something that is going on. I have to tell you, I'm really, really excited. I have big news. I just last week opened the doors and opened enrollment to my new Career Transformation Masterclass. That's right. Last Wednesday, I led an online event. So for those of you that were there, thank you for attending the webinar. It was fun. And I announced that I'm opening the doors to my new group coaching program. and I'm taking applications for it right now for new folks who want to kind of take the next step here with me and become one of my personal students to take their career to the next level. It's an 8-week journey led by yours truly, of course, that starts very soon. It starts July 11th. That's when class, so to speak, starts. So you only have about 3 weeks or so to sign up if this opportunity speaks to you. So let me give you a little bit of insight into what this will be about so you can recognize if it's something that is right for you. So we're going to cover, over these 8 weeks, we're going to cover the 6 components that I believe through my years of coaching and working with hundreds and hundreds of folks, these are the 6 components that I have isolated that I believe to be absolutely necessary to help you find not just your next job, but a rewarding career, if that's what you're looking for. And those components are clarity, strategy, connection, visibility, authenticity, and prosperity. Don't worry, you don't have to remember all those right now. We're going to go into each one, of course, during the class. That's what it's for. We'll do a deep dive into all 6 of those modules, and it's going to cover both a little bit of career path exploration and the full job search process. So it'll be a mix of live calls with me, of course, so you get some Q&A time to answer questions or ask me questions. But there's also 6 on-demand modules and lots of bonus materials. So it's going to be very flexible. You won't need a big time commitment for it. So if you're currently working and you don't have a lot of time to carve out, but you want to do something big, this could be for you. I'll also create a private Facebook group just for you guys, for the clients and the students of this masterclass, so that you guys can interact with me, get a little bit more one-on-one time. It's going to be fabulous. I'm so excited to offer this to those who really want to go to the next step and take action in their careers. And group programs in particular, I offer a lot of one-on-one, and I always will still do that. But group programs are pretty unique and amazing because not only do you get to learn from me, but you learn from each other. You make connections, you network, you make friends, and you hear other people's questions and learn from those. It really adds a whole nother element to it. And I've signed up for group programs myself. I always have coaches. So I always do this kind of thing. And so that's why I wanted to bring that type of experience to my practice as well with Work Smart Career Counseling. So here's a glimpse of what you will be able to do in this masterclass. Clarity, number 1, is all about how to identify your top strengths and your ideal work environment. Where do you want to work? Where do you belong? And where would your talents be best used? Module 2 is strategy. How do you craft a job search strategy? What's the best way to go about it to get interviews faster than just applying online? Because that's not really a strategy, right? But that's what most people do. So I'm going to walk you through in Module 2 my 3-step process that I teach my clients. Module 3 is connection. So how to connect with people and how to network in a meaningful way that produces job leads and is actually productive. Visibility, which is if people don't know about you, they can't hire you, right? So how to stand out from the crowd online, on LinkedIn, how to get noticed and get attention coming to you from people that you want to hire you. Authenticity is number 5. How to interview with confidence and secure more offers. The authentic interview is the best one. How to go into interviews being yourself, feeling confident, knowing that you have value. And prosperity. You will learn the right way to negotiate your salary and finally make what you are worth. I teach all of these things to all my coaching clients now, but I've kind of condensed it all down into one nugget, one 8-week class, and I'm really, really excited. So if you've been thinking about taking action in some way, but you haven't done so, you've kind of been in that contemplation stage. If you want to change careers, if you're just looking to change jobs, you want a mentor, I can be that. And I hope that you will join me this summer. So this is my invitation to you. If you like what you hear on the show, this is your next step. So what you can do, if that speaks to you, you can go to worksmartcounseling.com. There's a link right there on the homepage. And the investment is very reasonable, guys, especially given how much we're going to cover in just 8 weeks. So early bird enrollment is actually happening right now. There is a nice little discount on the investment if you sign up before June 27th. So procrastination will not be rewarded, guys, right? It never really is. So apply for a phone call with me before June 27th and go to worksmartcounseling.com. You'll see it right there on my homepage. You won't have to dig for it. It's nice and easy. So the link for the application and all the information is right there. All right. So I can't wait to see who's going to be one of my personal students this summer. All right. It's going to be a red hot summer for your career. Okay. So as promised, I want to take a minute and share a little success story from a listener of this show. And she may or may not be able to call in today. I hope so, but this is kind of during her workday. So, she may not be able to, but that's okay. That's okay. But I want to give, regardless, a shout out to a listener named Dawn. Dawn has been listening to this show since, I think, pretty close to the beginning here, and she posed a question to me in the Facebook group. I think it was the Inflow Radio Facebook group about, 3 weeks ago. Might have been a month ago, and I actually read the answer several weeks ago in episode 7. So I read an answer to her. She couldn't call in, but I answered her question live on the air. So you can check that out in the archives in episode 7. And what her question was she asked me how she could channel her love of writing into a side gig of some kind. And so she wasn't necessarily ready to leave her day job, but she wanted to write. She wanted to do something else and get something more creative going on the side. I can relate to that 100%. So I told her that all she really needed to do was just get started. If she had enough clarity to know that she wanted to infuse writing into her work, just start writing, I told her. I said, start compiling a body of work and get the writing out there for people to read. Start getting experience. It might not be paid right now, but you're collecting a body of work and it can lead to paid gigs. So I told her, start a little website, start a Facebook page, start a blog, start whatever you want, whatever speaks to her. But I wanted her to start getting this writing out there and know that it will find an audience. The right people will find it. She could even start pitching herself to other websites to be a guest blogger. I've done that as well. You never know where it's going to lead. Guess what? She followed up with me this past week and let me know how excited she was that she had implemented the advice. So she now has a Facebook page up and she has a website up and she's putting her writing out there. Oh, and she is on the line. It looks like she is calling in. Her ears must have been ringing knowing I was talking about her. So we'll see if we can, she's going through the screening process. We'll see if we can bring her on in a minute. That's really, really good timing. So she tagged me in a Facebook post about 2 weeks ago and said, Lorraine, I did it. I implemented your advice and I'm loving it. And she has felt like she just has this new creative outlet. And I was just so happy for her that she thought of me and she tagged me in it and she's like, hey, my website is up. And I was just so proud of her. So it looks like she's ready. I didn't do this timing on purpose, you guys. This is so perfect. All right, let's bring Dawn on. I think she'll tell her story better than I can. Hey, Dawn, are you there?
Hi, Lorraine. How are you?
Hi, you made it. I didn't know if you'd get to call in. You did it.
Well, yes, I had you on my phone at my desk, and of course you started talking about me, and it cut out. I said, I have to call her.
Good. Yeah, I was just in the middle of giving you big kudos because I loved that you tagged me in that Facebook post and followed up with me, and you just seemed really excited. And I love what you said, that you had this new outlet of creativity, and that you had a way to kind of get it all out.
Yes.
why don't you go ahead and tell listeners what's going on? What are you doing with your writing? What's, what was did you implement? I think you have a Facebook page, you have a website. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what action you took and what you did?
I do. It's dawndix.com. And thanks to you, I was listening to your show, and like you said, I questioned you on Facebook because I wasn't quite sure what to do. I hadn't written in 4 or 5 years. And suddenly, I don't know, the creativity just bloomed, and I created that blog and the Facebook page, and thank you so much for following it.
Oh, you're welcome. Absolutely. Hey, I know how it is when you're trying to build something from the ground up, right? And get yourself out there. I know how that is. So you're welcome. Yeah. Wonderful.
Oh,
absolutely. It's so funny how, it's you created the platform, right? You created a way for the writing to come through by creating, whether it's the Facebook page or the blog site. And it's funny how when you did that, it came, right? Then right. All the writing and the ideas flow. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's very powerful. So, so tell us a little bit more about what you write for our listeners so they can go. And I know it's DawnDix, DAWNDIX.com. Do you write like poetry, or tell us a little bit more about what you write in case listeners want to go kind of read it and follow it?
Yeah, it's funny. I used to write fiction. And then, like I said, I kind of gave that up 4 or 5 years ago. I started going into something else, which was teaching myself Spanish. I really liked it. But then, the writing started calling again. And this time it's more personal. So it is poetry. It's also a lot of self-motivating things, really, to the personal growth, so it's more that, hopefully, that helps other people as well, as I kind of take my journey.
Now, what is your regular job? Do you use writing at all, or is this really more of something totally separate from your current work?
Yeah, I really don't. I'm an administrative assistant, so I really don't have, the chance for that.
So this is really different.
So
this is
the rub.
Yeah. So this really does provide a creative outlet and something that your job would never provide, but here it is in a totally different way.
Right. So I'll have to talk to you hopefully tomorrow about maybe what I can do with it a little further. I don't know quite where, or, it's still a journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it always is. Yeah. But at least you've gotten it started, right? You're putting it out there.
Yeah.
You're sending that message out to the universe that, hey, this is something I want to do more of. I'm ready to show up for this. And then down the road, the opportunities start to come. But you have to be willing to kind of go first a little bit and take that first step. Yes. And then the opportunities can come. Wonderful. Right. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being a listener of the show and for keeping me posted on what you're doing. And I know this is not a super convenient time for you to call with your break and everything like that. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks so much for everything. And I know I'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah. I think we have a call tomorrow. We're going to chat a little bit. So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yay. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dawn.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Bye, hon. Yep. Bye-bye. Take care. Awesome. So that's actually the first time I've actually spoken to her. We've had a little bit of a Facebook relationship going on for the last, month or more. So, and it's so funny because I was actually originally planning on doing my little success story of hers at the end of the show, and something told me to move it. And just this morning, I moved it up to the beginning, and it's so funny because that's when Dawn called. I had no idea when or if she was even going to be able to call. That is so cool. Talk about serendipity there, guys. But in thinking about her situation, I know there's a lot of other folks out there too who are wanting to do something more fulfilling, maybe more creative, and they don't know if they can do it or if they can or should monetize it. and turn it into a career, right? A lot of times people kind of feel guilty charging for something that they love, whether it's speaking, writing, coaching, selling your artwork, whatever it may be. I really got to thinking a couple of weeks ago that, a lot of people struggle with this internally. They think, oh, I love it so much I couldn't possibly charge for it. And I think, that's so common, but I think to myself, why? Why, just because you love it, why does that mean you can't charge for it? To me, that makes no sense. But I can understand why people think that. Personally, I think that if you love something, then that's probably what you should be charging for, because that's what you're best at. That's where your passion is. That's where your value is. And if you love it, you're probably really good at it, and other people are going to feel that and want to share in it and buy it and enjoy it. That's probably exactly what you should be charging for. So, and I say that because I'm someone who turned my passion into a business, and I do it every day. But that isn't for everyone. So that's what we're going to continue to explore today is, should I make a business out of this, or should I make a career out of this? Or is it really better as a hobby, as a side project? Maybe I don't want to invite that into my life. And what is career, what does our work look like? Some people love to paint, draw, make music just for the creativity of it, and they have no desire to make a job out of it. Awesome. You can do that. You can choose that path. Or you can go the route that I went and make a career out of it. Either one is absolutely correct. So no matter what my friend Dawn chooses down the road, whether she continues in her regular job and writes on the side and that's enough, great. I think she wants to take it further. I think she wants to make more of a career out of it. So maybe that's what I'll be able to help her with. But either way, it's right. You can do it. Your creativity doesn't always have to pay your bills, and it shouldn't always. Some people, the pressure of having their craft having to make them money is actually too much, and it kind of ruins the creativity for them. When there's that financial pressure, we don't always need to demand that our passion, our creativity be our job. Sometimes that just spoils it, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, some people, it just detracts from the creative process. But me, I happen to feel the opposite. Some people do charge for what they love the most and what brings them joy. And they want it to be more than a hobby, more than a side gig. Some people actually get motivated and more creative by the idea of turning their passion into a business, a career, or even a calling. More on that in a minute. But if you do, either way, that's awesome too. So if you're on the fence about this and you're not really sure, should I charge for what I do? Should I make it my career? Hopefully today's conversation will help you a little bit and know that either way is right and either way is fine. Ultimately, I think we learn as we get into, we'll learn it as we get into the topic a little bit more, but I want you to start asking yourself these questions. Ask yourself, are you energized by the idea of making money from what you love the most and putting it into a formal business, or do you feel burdened by that? Either one's okay. And remember, you can change your mind at any time, because it always is, always was, always will be about right now in the present moment and what's right for you and for your career right now. Okay? All right. Let's go ahead and pause for a second. And this is a good stopping point. We'll take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive in deep to this idea of who we are versus what we do. It's been said, essentially, that there's 3 types of work out there: a job, a career, and a calling. So which one do you have? Which one do you want? And does it even matter? That's exactly what we're going to answer in just a few minutes when we come back, you guys. So stay tuned. There's more Career Uprising coming in just a moment. Hey there, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show today. I want to take this short break to tell you about something really special that's happening very soon. In just a few weeks, I'll be enrolling a small group of clients in a new program where they'll become my personal students. And I'm doing this through my new Career Transformation Masterclass. This is an 8-week journey where you will learn how to finally secure the career of your dreams. You'll receive deep guidance and mentoring that will be crucial to helping you learn how to achieve your career goals and optimize your job search. No more waiting for the phone to ring and just hoping that someone will hire you. Now you'll have the power back in your hands. Enrollment is now open, but it won't last long. Go to worksmartcounseling.com/masterclass. That's worksmartcounseling.com/masterclass. I can't wait to see you there as one of my personal students. Now let's get back to the show. I'd love to answer your questions. Give me a call in today's episode, recorded live, by dialing the U.S. number 1-760-456-7277. That's 1-760-456-7277, and let's see how we can improve your career. Hey, everybody, and we are back. All right, so let's get into this topic of who we are versus what we do for a living. All right, what does that even mean? Well, let me give you first the backstory, okay, of how I came up with this show topic. I came across a quote, or I heard it said a couple of months ago, that there's 3 types of work in the world: a job, a career, and a calling. Holy cow. When I heard that, it stopped me right where I was. Of course, I'm a career coach, so I've always got an ear out for that kind of career inspiration. But when I heard that, I loved it. And I thought, wow, it seems a little simplistic, but at the same time, it seems to kind of sum it up. I think it does. So I immediately wrote that down. When I heard it, I loved it. And I continued to kind of let it percolate in my mind. And I decided I wanted to do a show about it because I believe it's really true. So what this is saying is that basically a job, the first level, is something that you do mostly just to kind of pay your bills, or maybe just to stay busy in your retirement. Okay. It's something that just it's a place to go every day, serves a basic purpose. That's about it. It's not necessarily something that you derive a ton of meaning or purpose from. It's a little bit transactional, we'll say. Maybe in this case, you see your job as something that kind of plays a supporting role in your life. So like if your life was a movie, it's a supporting role. And maybe it just gives you, the money that you need to go pursue other things that you are more interested in. Okay. So then step 2 is a career. A career steps up from that and says, well, it's a little bit more than just a way to make money. This is something that gives me good structure and good purpose to my day. And let's say if your life was a movie, then your career would be the lead actor. Okay. But then there's a calling. There's a 3rd level. Now that's the whole movie. This is where the work and the life, it's all just kind of intertwined. So at this stage, you've kind of intertwined your career, your life all together, and not necessarily in a bad way. I don't think that necessarily means that you're a workaholic. So it's not a negative thing, but I think that a calling means that your work is a part of your identity, and it's really a part of your deeper purpose. And at this level, you feel like, you have a mission in the world, something that you have to do that benefits society at large. And I think what this concept is also really saying is that not every job has to serve the same purpose, right? Sure, most people work because we need the money, but then again, maybe not. I think it would be a mistake to assume that everyone is looking at their work and their professional lives in the same way in order to get the same thing out of it. And I think that getting clarity around this can have pretty big implications. I think that a lot of people struggle to find the right career because they believe that there's just this one perfect job out there that they have to discover. It's very straight and narrow. And if they don't find it, well, then I guess they've missed it, right? They've missed their destiny. And I kind of hear people say this a lot. They say, oh, I need to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. But is there one thing that you're supposed to be doing with your life? I don't know. Maybe for some people, but I don't think for everyone. I think that word supposed to, or that phrase, can cause a lot of problems because I think that at the simplest level, our purpose here on earth is really just to embody love and be the best version of ourselves that we possibly can. I don't prescribe to the notion that you have to go out and, quote, find your gift. And maybe that sounds weird coming from a career coach. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to be helping people do, right? Is to go out and find their gift. You are the gift. You are the gift. You are the purpose. The fact that you are here now, alive, on earth, with the time that you've been given is evidence that you have already found the gift, okay? So now, like any gift, it's what you do with it that matters, okay? So if you waste it away and dwindle it, then yeah, I guess in that sense, maybe you've missed your calling or your destiny. But I don't think that for most people, there's this one thing you have to go out and find that you have to be doing right now. That puts an enormous amount of pressure on you. And it's just a very limiting way of thinking. I think we need to broaden it up and just view your whole life as the gift. And your career is just one aspect of what you choose to do with it. Okay? So the connection that I'm trying to make here is that your job, your career is one way that you, quote, open the gift of your life. But it doesn't have to be. Because, as we said, you can have a job, you can have a career, or you can have a calling. It's up to you. And I think if you take time to get clear on that, it will take some pressure off of you. You don't have to find meaning or purpose through your work if you don't want to. Not everyone has aspirations to start a business or climb the corporate ladder or even have a robust career of any kind if they don't want to. They can just have a job and derive their meaning or their purpose or calling, for that matter, somewhere else. Problem solved. So here's another question. How do I know which one's right for me, right? How do I know if I have a job or a career or a calling or which one I even want, right? So the lines here, this is where the lines between who we are and what we do for a living kind of get blurred. Like I said, kind of in the intro, I think we get used to kind of introducing ourselves to other people by what we do for a living. I'm a career coach. I'm a project manager. I'm an administrative assistant. And it little by little, I think it kind of ingrains into your identity that that's who you are in this life. And so that's kind of where I got the name for the show. And I think that we do need to make a distinction between who we are and what we do. And I think it's worth noting that even if you do have a calling, so let's say you feel like you're up at that top level, it still doesn't mean that what you do for a living is in any way close to being, quote, who you are. Our jobs or our careers are never really who we are. And I don't want to devalue those things, of course, because they're important. But we do kind of want to make sure that they're in the right context. And I think that this is really important too, because when you are in a negative situation, and you are in maybe a toxic job or a career that is unfulfilling for whatever reason, it's important, it's more important than ever to make that distinction that this is not who I am. This is just one aspect of my life and one expression of who I am. That's all it is. And it's one that you can change at any time. Whether or not you change jobs or change the meaning that you attach to it. Sometimes just having a different perspective on your career, that in itself can be the miracle. That in itself can be the change without ever actually changing jobs. Sometimes we just need a change in perspective. Sometimes we actually need to change jobs or careers. But you should always ask yourself that question first. And I think there can be immense freedom in seeing your work life in this way. It might help it to not take it too seriously sometimes when you have problems, when you have setbacks or anything that is unfulfilling at work, to remember this is not who I am. This is only one part of my life. It's not necessarily my purpose unless I want it to be, then it can be, and that's beautiful and wonderful. But you're allowed to just have a job. If that's okay with you. And you're allowed to give it whatever meaning or lack of meaning you want. Not everyone looks at it the same way. So let's maybe take a minute and look at how can you figure out which one is right for you right now in this moment. Because remember, it's all about the present moment. Don't worry about what work or career is going to be 5, 10 years from now. I don't even know for sure what I'm going to be doing. I assume I'm going to be doing this, but I would imagine it's going to evolve or transform in some way. I'm really not even asking myself that question at this moment. Your focus really needs to be on what is good for you and what do you need right now. Okay? So let's start with a job. Just having a job might be good for you if you feel like you have good fulfillment and a good creative outlet in other areas of your life. And also maybe if, making a ton of money, maybe that isn't an aspiration for you. Maybe that's not a big priority. I know that's kind of hard for us Western minds to grasp sometimes, but it's true. There are people out there who don't really care about making a lot of money. So in that case, just having a job might work well for you. That might make sense. I certainly know jobs that I've had in the past when I was younger, especially in my early 20s. I worked a lot of, retail type jobs you would expect people in college and high school to do. Those were just jobs. But you know what? They were, for where I was in my life, they were actually really fulfilling. I really enjoyed a lot of the just, hourly jobs that I had in high school and college, because for where I was at in my life at that time, it made sense and it was fulfilling and it was plenty of money and it met my needs and it was meeting me where I was at in terms of my skill level and my aspirations. So it made sense. Now, of course, was I going to evolve beyond that? Of course I am. But you don't necessarily have to. So in that case, a job is good. And if you crave a little bit more than that, maybe you see work as something that gives you a little bit more structure to your day. You like the idea of kind of, getting promotions and moving up, climbing that corporate ladder, advancing, learning some new skills. Then you probably want a career. And I think this is probably where most people fall into. We start out wanting the job and then our aspirations develop a little bit. So new opportunities come our way. We want to move up a little bit. We want to gain new skills. We start to look at different opportunities, go back to school a little bit. This is a great place to be too. Or alternatively, maybe if you have a burning passion to get a certain message out to the world or a solution, solve a problem out there, and you just don't want to stop until you do it. If you feel that, you probably have a calling. If you see work as more than just work, but really part of your life's mission. No matter what you choose, just know it is beautiful, it is perfect, and it is right. And it's all about the present moment. So like I said, I started out having what I would absolutely call just jobs in my past, and they served me beautifully. At that time, I outgrew them when I needed to, and then I moved into a career. And when I got into my mid-20s, I definitely started to have a career. That was the time I was working at Jenny Craig, and I was starting to move up a little bit. I held a couple of different positions, got a few promotions. Things were, feeling pretty good, but I could tell, again, I was starting to outgrow it, right? Because you can tell internally if you are following your intuition, you can tell if a job no longer serves you anymore. You should be paying attention to that. And you should always be asking yourself that question, okay? But always keep it in the present moment and know you can have any one of these at any time. And is it going to be stagnant? No, probably not. You're probably going to have a job at some point. You're going to have a career at some point. And whether or not you have a calling, I think we all have a calling. But the question is whether or not you want to use your career to express that calling. That is completely up to you. Because many people don't have a career at all. So does that mean they don't have a calling? Of course not. Maybe you stay home to raise your kids, and maybe that's your calling. Maybe you work just a regular 9-to-5 job, and you've got a creative calling on the side that you never make into a career. It's completely fluid. It's completely up to you. And I tell clients this all the time. There is not one thing that you are, quote, supposed to be doing with your life. There's what you want to be doing. There's what you need the work to do for you and what's right for you right now in this moment. Okay. Let that thought marinate for a second. We're going to take one more just quick commercial break, and then I do have a little bit more that we're going to go into. And if you are listening now, you feel like you want to call in, might have a few extra minutes here for another caller. So I would urge you to do that if you'd like to. But let's take just one more quick break, and we'll be right back. Hey there, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show today. I want to take this short break to tell you about something really special that's happening very soon. In just a few weeks, I'll be enrolling a small group of clients in a new program where they'll become my personal students. And I'm doing this through my new Career Transformation Masterclass. This is an 8-week journey where you will learn how to finally secure the career of your dreams. You'll receive deep guidance and mentoring that will be crucial to helping you learn how to achieve your career goals and optimize your job search. No more waiting for the phone to ring and just hoping that someone will hire you. Now you'll have the power back in your hands. Enrollment is now open, but it won't last long. Go to worksmartcounseling.com/masterclass. That's worksmartcounseling.com/masterclass. I can't wait to see you there as one of my personal students. Now let's get back to the show. I'd love to answer your questions. Give me a call in today's episode, recorded live, by dialing the U.S. number 1-760-456-7277. That's 1-760-456-7277, and let's see how we can improve your career. Hey, everybody. All right. Thanks for that. And we are back. So we're having a little conversation today about what our work means to us. Is we're asking ourselves the question, is work who we are? Is it, or is it something completely separate? What meaning does it have for us? And I was sharing earlier the quote that I read that we have one of three types of work usually. It's either a job, a career, or a calling. And I love that so much. But I think that this issue is very complex. I don't think it's a simple answer. I think that there are different meanings for different people. So of course, in preparing for this show, I had to think about myself. Which one am I? Where do I fall into this? So I started really thinking about my own career trajectory and what work means to me. And do I have a job, a career, or a calling? And so as I was sharing, of course, earlier in my career, I definitely had jobs. There's no doubt about it. When I was younger, I was just transactional. I needed to work somewhere, pay my bills, get through school, that type of thing. And once I graduated college, kind of moved on a little bit in life, started a family, I absolutely felt the yearning for a career. And I did make one. But funny how, to me, it only lasted a couple of years. And if you go back and listen to the episode, actually really just number 9, I think, where I shared 2 episodes ago, where I shared the story of how I got fired. That was a good one. At that point, I was becoming awake inside to the fact that I personally felt like I had a career calling. And that's where I feel like I am now. Because I have an obsession. I really do. I love what I do so much. And I see it as a big part of who I am. I've kind of got those intertwined, but that's because I choose to intertwine them. I've chosen to weave my job and my personal life really all together. Heck, I work from home. My office and my home are the same thing. And I like that. I invite that into my life where it's kind of all one thing, but not everyone would want that. But I feel as a career coach and what I'm doing now, I feel an obsession. I feel a mission. I feel it's my intuition saying that you can do this. This is what you're meant to be doing right now. So for me, I like to say, yeah, I think I'm following a calling in my career. Being the host of this show, all of it is coming together. There's no doubt in my mind that for me right now, I'm living out a career calling. There's no question to me. It's that strong. And I feel like when you have a calling, it's that strong. You don't really have to go, is it? Is it not? You know that it is. Okay. It's more than a job. It's more than a career. It's about being of service to other people and using your talents in the most magnificent way that you can think of. The work that I'm doing now is something that really, like I said, came out of an inner voice that spoke to me for a long time, and it just wouldn't shut up and it wouldn't go away in a good way. So now in saying this, that I have a calling, I want you to know this. I am not special. That doesn't mean that I'm, different than anybody else. We all have one. The reason that my work is a calling is because I chose to make it one. I wanted that. I invited that into my life. It's not like I'm this one divine chosen being fulfilling God's plan, except wait, just kidding. That's all of us, right? We're all doing that. All of us are. So I'm not special. If I have a calling, so do you, but yours may or may not be your career. It could be something completely different. We all are divine beings. We all have a calling. We all have a purpose. That's why we're here. But what we do for a career and whether or not we choose to have a job, a career, or a calling is kind of irrelevant, I think. It doesn't change the fact that you are who you are at a spiritual level, and you're here to rock the world and be amazing. And you can change your mind at any time. You can do it however you want. You don't have to express your gifts through a big, successful, robust career unless you want to. And in that case, well, then maybe I can help you get there as your coach. That's what I do, right? But my goal here is mainly to broaden things up, broaden up our definition of work, and help you to see that you can give whatever meaning or lack of meaning that you want to your work. And that's still beautiful and perfect, my friends. So here's one more question. We touched on this a little bit. This choice of a job, a career, or calling, does it stay the same over time? Do we have to just choose one? No, I think we already kind of addressed that a little bit. I don't think we do at all. I think personally that people are complex. Our lives are complex. Our careers are complex. We have free will. We can change at any time. I feel like whatever job, career, or calling we have, it's exactly what we're supposed to be doing at that time. So when I was working those retail jobs in high school and college, was that a calling? No, of course not. I have that now, but that's okay. Working those jobs then honestly made me really happy at the time and totally met my needs. I enjoyed it. I wouldn't enjoy it now, but that's okay. I've changed. Our choice of how we want to show up at work and what it means to us evolves as we evolve. But this is just my opinion. Or it doesn't even have to evolve, because remember, you don't have to aim for a calling, at least not with your work. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a calling. But what I'm saying is that not everyone's calling has to be expressed through their job. And that's the difference. So think about this and ask yourself some questions. If you're not completely sure where you fall, right? Or which one of these you have or even want, ask yourself, what is it that you want to get out of your job or your work? Is it really just something to kind of pay the bills? That's fine. Is it more than that? Is it more than just about the money? It's about fulfillment. It's about being the best that you can be. Maybe it's about promotions and recognition, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with wanting those things and making those things a part of your career aspirations. They've been a part of mine. It's kind of about what motivates you. Ask yourself, what motivates me? Am I motivated by money? Am I motivated by creativity? Am I motivated by challenges? Am I motivated by working for myself, working for someone else? Ask yourself these questions, and I think that you will start to get clarity around which one of these you have and maybe which one you want and what meaning all of this has for you. But definitely, if you're in a situation where you're unhappy, take the pressure off of yourself and know that what you do for a living is not really who you are. It can have whatever meaning you want. Man, the time starts to go by fast. It always does. That hour always just whips by. I can't believe it. And I'm so glad we got to talk to Dawn, because she's kind of figuring that out too, right? She's got this writing thing and she's like, God, what do I want to do with it? Do I want to keep it as a side hobby, or do I want to make more out of it? That's really kind of perfect for this topic. So, all right, man, I'm always sad when the show ends. I can't believe it. But next week, I'm super excited. So we are going to have to pre-record next week. It won't be live because I will be on vacation, getting a little bit of relaxing time with my family, but we will still have a brand new show for you. So definitely tune in next week. You're going to hear from a former client of mine. Her name is Martha Pabin, and she went through my career transformation program a year ago. And she quite literally landed her dream job. She really did. And I had the chance to reconnect with her over the phone just last week and preparing for our interview. And it's so, so exciting. She made a big, gutsy career move, and she's going to tell her story next week. All right. Man, the time goes by so fast. All right. So I hope I see you maybe potentially as one of my personal students in my career transformation masterclass. Go read about that and apply for a phone call with me before June 27th, because that's the early bird enrollment. So go to worksmartcounseling.com to do that. And in the meantime, I hope you guys have a beautiful week, and I hope you tune in next time when I interview my former client, Martha, and you can hear about the amazing transformation that she made. It's going to be fabulous. But until then, as always, you know what I'm going to say, guys. I want you to go out there into the world, and I want you to be courageous. And I can't wait to talk to you guys next time. Bye, guys. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show was brought to you by InflowRadio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.